Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and if I look or sound like death, it's because I'm sick. So bear with me, I just sneezed like 18,000 times, so hopefully we're done with that. Anyway, we will be reviewing The Mandalorian episodes 1 and 2. By we, I mean me. The royal we, me, all four of my cats, me and my schizophrenic alter ego, I don't know, review happening of Mandalorian after a message from our sponsor. Yes, that's right. This video is sponsored by the amazing Rick Foreman, who sponsored a video last week. Last week he gave away a free copy of his wonderful horror comedy read, I should say, GRIZZLED. And this week he will be doing the same with words in English. GRINDFOREST, a double feature of the epic quality of the Rodriguez Tarantino team up. We'll just call it the Rodrigo, mash them up together. Team up that was Grindhouse. So if you like mutant penguins running through the forest, murdering people indiscriminately, you will love GRINDFOREST, because it features GRIZZLED, the novel about a mutant penguin, and the team up of the wonderful people, the 3 forest rangers and the grizzled hunter. Oh my god, is the word in the title and the stuff, who have to go after this penguin and stop him. And you'll also enjoy the second part of this here novel, Hacked Off, of this double novel feature, Hacked Off, which is this is the black sheep. I'm sorry, I can't even say. I'm already laughing just reading the tagline for this. The black sheep of a cannibalistic hillbilly clan rebels against his family after developing a crush on the final girl. Bringing to mind wonderful things like words I can't say because I can't remember how to English. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. And very much, I read the original screenplay for GRIZZLED because it is intended to be a feature film. And definitely the style recalls Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, one of the greatest horror comedies ever made. Hacked Off is very much in the same vein. So if you're into horror comedy, you'll love it. If you're into fun, quirky characters, you'll love it. You'll love both of these, and you should definitely read them. You can get them now on Amazon, paperback and ebook. The links are below in the description, so make sure you grab your copy now. But if you don't want to do that, you can win a copy of GRINDFOREST by staying tuned at the end of this review, and you'll learn all the details for that. Martin Dixon was the one who won GRIZZLED, the giveaway for GRIZZLED, with his title for the sequel, Son of GRIZZLED, because we couldn't afford the original Penguin salary demands. So you made the author Rick Foreman laugh the hardest. There were a lot of great entries for that, but Martin, if you haven't claimed your reward yet, make sure you do email Rick and let him know where to send the thing. Now, without further ado, my Mandalorian review of episodes 1 and 2. So, we're doing both of them. I'm going to start out with some spoiler-free impressions, then we'll jump into spoilers. But without any other delay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to say I liked it. I liked it quite a lot. So, if you're one of those people who automatically hates anything Disney touches now, especially anything Disney Star Wars related, you can stop right now. You're not going to enjoy this review. If you came here just because you assume I hate everything Disney Star Wars related and wanted to hate me for hating everything Disney Star Wars related, suck it. You're not getting that either. So if you're one of those two people, suck a dick, because I'm not going to make you happy, and guess what? It ain't my fucking job, so go find someone else who does that for you. Now, I call out those two particular groups for not liking this review. Like, I'm not saying that it's impossible for other people to dislike this show or have issues with it. It's certainly possible. Definitely, if Westerns aren't your thing, you're not going to be that tickled by The Mandalorian. Because that's the reality. This is a Western. This is written like a Western. It's not, maybe not a Western serial, because it's not, we're definitely building a larger arc. It has a meandering pace more in the, the Dollars trilogy. So definitely calling back that kind of spaghetti Western genre that sort of takes a long meandering pace, has this stoic, tight-lipped main character that we sort of peel back in layers, while all set in the Star Wars universe. And that, for me, 100% is one of the most beautiful parts about this show, is that it is firmly, clearly, and not just on the visual, but on the personal level, rooted in the Star Wars universe. It feels like the Star Wars universe in a way that none of the Disney Star Wars films ever really captured for me. I think Rogue One, for me, got the closest, but this one does just leaps and bounds beyond what any of the films were able to do in terms of building the Star Wars universe the way that we already know it, the way that we're already attached to it, in ways that, like, Galaxy's Edge failed completely by giving us something that felt Star Wars-y, but we didn't recognize it. And that's a beautiful part of The Mandalorian. I think it strikes a really nice balance of giving us a universe we recognize, people by aliens, technologies, things that we recognize without overdoing the nostalgia, overdoing the, oh, we made this moment exactly like this other moment, which I think is what the sequel movies did the complete opposite of. They gave us they gave us visuals, places, things we didn't really recognize. The things we did recognize, or the callbacks that were thrown to us, were way too similar. So Jakku is indistinguishable from Tatooine. Meanwhile, we have a desert planet. In The Mandalorian, that has very distinct features. It's mountainous valleys. We have cracked earth in this. We have just snowy terrain on the Starkiller base, and we've got Crate that is not snow, it's sand, but the landscape looks almost identical to Hoth. Meanwhile, we have we have a cantina, a bar on an ice planet at the beginning of The Mandalorian, and the actual ice, the frozen over water, which is, what ice usually is relevant to this planet and gives us an element that we haven't experienced in a snowy scape before. So little things like that I really enjoy. So now we're just gonna dive into the spoilers section here. We're just gonna spoil everything. So if you're not interested in that, if you haven't watched it yet, you don't like spoilers, now is the time to hold off until you watch the show itself. I don't even know where to begin. I really enjoyed this. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest show ever made. It's not perfect. I had a couple minor gripes with the first episode, and really, I don't think I had anything bad to say about the second one, to be perfectly honest. Few minor gripes with the first one. The moment where he has that visual flashback to being a child, orphaned child, when he's sitting in the Mandalorian the home for orphan Mandalorians. I don't know what it's supposed to be. The Mandalorian Guild, I guess, which seems distinct from the Bounty Hunting Guild, to be determined. But I thought that flashback sequence was a little heavy-handed. I felt that it was more justified later on when we see his immediate affinity towards the Yoda baby. I'm just gonna call it the Yoda baby because we still don't know the name of that race, and that's, I think, a good thing. So it sets that up, and that's what I liked about this episode. I think a lot of moments that set up this character that we get as information flash, information and callback, or information, additional information. We know that he's a problem with droids. We see that now twice with him rejecting a droid-run speeder. We see that in his initial criticism of the way IG-11, the bounty droid, handled the protocol, trying to collect the bounty on this baby thing. So little moments like that really solidify who this character is. I wasn't sold on the music at first. I thought there were a couple moments, just the way it came in the opening credits, I thought it felt a little too westerny, too on the nose with that, too out of the world I've been fed so far. But it's growing on me. I thought the moment, also there was a moment that was a little too battle epic when he's riding the cannon. But again, it's growing on me. Through the second episode, I thought it did a much nicer job. I thought that the moment was a little trite, a little contrived. The whole, he learns, we see a softer side, whereas he learns to bond with an animal when he has that moment taming the blurg, which, by the way, I think is a great name for a creature. I love that blurg. It just feels right for what that is. When he was like, oh, I want this blurg. I'm like, yep, that's a blurg. I knew it. You didn't need to specify any further. He was like, I want half the blurg. I'm like, oh, the blurg are those guys. I get it. Kuil, I think is his name. What's the fuck? Oregon, whatever those things are. Yeah. So I enjoy the, personally for me, I enjoy them. I like the horse taming moment in Westerns, in that kind of, character building. So it works for me. I'm not saying it's the greatest piece of writing ever, but it works for me. I was impressed with the writing of Quill's character, his dialogue. specifically, you're taking somebody who's like, all right, we need you here because we have a very tight-lipped character who doesn't necessarily know the lay of the land. We have one other person here who knows the lay of the land, who's coming in as our sort of, and I like that he was a short-lived presence, this Obi-Wan, character, this old wizardy guide kind of guy. So it makes sense that he knows things, and he's telling it to us in a very information delivery kind of way, but he has his little vocal quirk, his, I have spoken moment, which sort of adds this mystique to his character, I guess, this deeper level to his character that makes it okay that he's just telling us these things. I thought that was actually a pretty clever way of getting exposition into the story. So again, I'm just singing this. I'm just singing this show's praises at this point. We're still on episode 1 here, but a lot of that. The fight sequences are baller. The door chopping the guy in half. Whew. That was cool as fuck. The little way he sets up the blanking on his name, what he's supposed to be. I don't know if we know this species. The guy, I don't know how much information we got about him. The little blue green guy that he brings in the beginning. The way he clearly sets him up, lets him go down, lets him see all the things, and the moment he sees all the other bounties frozen in carbonite, that's this big oh shit moment for him, and we know he's screwed at this point. So little moments like that I really enjoyed. I freaking love Werner Herzog in this already. I just want all of him forever. I think he's such a great choice. Every character I think was so well written and so well cast for these roles, just to really, really set up the world that we're living in. I viscerally enjoy what we're getting, little things like the security screening on the door to go into where Herzog's character is. The same one for Jabba's palace, and we have a lot of this the walkways here that look like Mos Eisley, but you get a sense just by the way it's shot, the way it's colored, the couple little things we see that's a different environment. This is not an arid Tatooine desert place, but yet we still have the monkey lizards. A la Salacious Crumb getting fried, which is a nice little vindication moment. We all hate Salacious Crumb, so to watch his species being turned into just a snack it's kind of delightful. So yeah, all these little biddies, and the way they bring the Mandalorian character in slowly. The way they drop him right off the bat, he's kind of a bastard. He's a badass, kind of a bastard. But then they don't take too long before dropping in this potential softer side, this affinity for his own people, obviously the adherence to his Mandalorian code, which then, as we said, leads to this expectation that he has this soft affection for this child, the Yoda baby, which also is a nice balance too, because that, and even moving into the second episode, which we're starting to jump into here, is this connection and this desire to protect him. Now, you have a level of ambiguity when he shoots IG-11 at the end of the first episode of, well, is he doing this simply because of this affinity, or, I mean, we know he's going to be paid, he's paid specifically to bring the bounty in alive, that's the expectation, so, how much is each? How much is this affection he has towards the orphaned infant, and how much is the desire to do the job as he's instructed? So I like that question that's left for us. Now we go to the second episode, and just more fun. I love little details, the little lizard creatures that are running around in the canyon that he's going through. The nice bit of violence in there, just quality violence, and the added fact of we've got a lot of bounty hunters coming after this thing, trying to kill him, clearly, is a fun little detail. Love that Quill comes back and becomes a relevant character, and now we get this element, this moment too of we have Jawa's dismantling, or we have the Jawa's dismantling a ship, and it makes sense. You want scavengers to come take apart a ship, become this plot point that drives the episode. Why not be Jawas? We know they're the scavenger of the galaxy. We recognize the Sandcrawler. There's no reason not to have it be Jawas. I think it's a big mistake that the sequels made, that everything had to be new, everything had to be different, a new kind of alien, a new kind of this, a new kind of that. You already have this rich world with all of these aliens, largely who factored in as extras or minor parts. There's no reason not to already bring in the same aliens that we already recognize, that we already know the names of, we already know the lore of, we already know the background of. So to bring that in as Jawas made sense to me, and led to this very fun Indiana Jones-esque chase sequence with the Sandcrawler. and the fun, the little bit of lightheartedness with right away almost religious desire for the egg, and then of course when they get the egg, they scoop it out and eat it. It's sort of ridiculous, and I'm okay with it. It's not overly so. It's not overly comedic. The Jawas were always sort of a slight comedic relief kind of character because of these little kid things running around with their language, which they nailed, by the way. The way they did the language in this, and everyone chattering at once was perfect. Calling back to the early stuff, and again, looking like this creature is supposed to look from what we've learned from the original trilogy, without doing the exact same things or acting in the exact same ways. Following a pattern of behavior that's been set for them, but being different. Seeing them in a different context, do something different. Having the upper hand, which is sort of interesting, and then of course, I love the tease when he's traveling with the Yoda baby, the Mandalorian traveling with the Yoda baby, of him trying to force heal him, and the Mandalorian obviously not having any idea what's going on. To then the big moment of him, force lifting the creature. And I like that now we're back in a place which makes sense to me, where the Jedi were a thing of story and myth and legend. And so you come into the Force Awakens, everyone seems to know about, Luke and the Jedi and this and that, which I guess, okay, he's a time to establish his little Jedi colony now, his training school. So I guess people know about it by the time the Force Awakens rolls around, but I find it hard to believe that one Jedi Master training Jedi somewhere has this far-reaching, scope. So it makes sense to me that you have a character who, the only Jedi in his lifetime is Luke, and he probably doesn't know very much about it at all, because who gives a shit about all that, Imperial fighting, when he's just a fucking bounty hunter. It doesn't matter to him. Only that matters to him are the Imperial credits aren't worth as much anymore. So this mystification of what is this? What just happened? But of course the audience is in on the secret. There's a level of dramatic irony there because the audience is totally in on the secret. Yeah, this is a Yoda baby. From what we know, his race is powerful in the Force, and so it's this great little fun thing of where is this going? You knew this somehow is coming into this straight from the end of episode 1, where you're like, Yoda baby, what's happening? And so I'm enjoying this so far because we have a situation where it's not like this is the new Jedi. We have a Jedi that we're caring about, but that you're bringing the Force, which is such a crucial element of the Star Wars universe, into this story, and we're already feeling a sense that some of the Force is guiding the Mandalorian's destiny, whether that's the intention or not. But it makes sense. The Force drives everything, so it makes sense that if we're caring about this character, it's like the question you always ask when you write a story or act in a scene: why now? Why is this happening now? So to have the Force integrated into here, without being the central component, everything about what's the Force, let's learn about the Force, really gives us a sense of this is why this character is why we care about this character. This is why this is all happening now. He's somehow important. He's somehow, even though not a Force user, chosen by the Force for this important story. And that makes it feel like it's important for us to hear about it and know about it. So I really enjoyed that. I love the relationship between the Mandalorian and Kuiil. My favorite line is exchange in this episode is probably when he comes out from fighting the rhinoceros, the woolly rhinoceros. And he says, I'm surprised you waited for me. And Kuiil says, I'm surprised it took you so long. I just really enjoy that dynamic. And then that exchange at the end, the way, I love, offers him to come along and him to say, no, my path here, my journey's here, and I'm done being in servitude. And it's just the little things like that. I doubt we'll ever see this character again. If we do, I'm not gonna be upset. If we don't, I'm not gonna be upset. Just upset in the fact that he's a great character, but, in the way that, we can have these people who come in and connect to part of the Mandalorian's journey and then phase out again. I think that's great. I think it works with this Western trope, this idea of this lonely wanderer that we're setting up for him. I'm really enamored with the show. I love the pacing of it. I love the character. I think he's been phenomenal. I hope we continue on this. Obviously, we're gonna get bigger. We're gonna get some bigger ideas, some bigger elements in here. But I really hope that a lot of this really deeply personal movement in the story continues, because I'm really enjoying it. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't think it's earth-shattering, groundbreaking, oh my god, the greatest thing anyone's ever made. But I think it's good. I think it's good storytelling. I think it's good writing. I think it strikes a beautiful balance of visually giving us Star Wars without doing things that we've already seen. Without just rehashing old territory. I'm intrigued by so many elements here. I feel like I have information, but I also have a lot of questions. I want to know more about Werner Herzog. I want to know more about the Yoda baby. I want to know what this involvement is, who this guy Kai is, who Werner Herzog is working with to get the Yoda baby. I love that. I love that I have these questions, and I love that they're probably going to be answered. I'm not going to wait a whole movie to have my subversions, my expectations subverted for no effing reason. I really feel like this is going someplace positive. Again, it's episode 2. I could be totally wrong. It could fall off the rails tomorrow. It could end up sucking. I don't know. I'm optimistic right now. I like what I'm seeing. I feel like everything that I was promised from the Mandalorian panel at Star Wars Celebration, from the trailers, from everything I've read about it, I feel like it's being delivered upon. And I like that. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel honored as a fan. It makes me feel like I'm watching something that I want to be watching. Now, I'm, again, not saying it's perfect. There are probably other flaws that I haven't even thought of or mentioned or whatnot. There are probably things that didn't bother me that bothered other people. There are probably things that I found good fan service that people found too much. But little things I noticed right away, too, and something I appreciated right away, is when he walks into the cantina in episode 1 and there's no music. Because you're visually getting the reference to the cantina. We're seeing the aliens. We're seeing some of the same aliens that we saw in the original cantina. So we get it, den of scum and villainy. But we don't need the cantina band. We don't need some music playing. We don't need to recreate that exact environment. We have enough visual callbacks to that, and we understand he's walking into a bounty hunter guild kind of place. Other thing I really love about this show right away, you have the opportunity to create a character that could be a Mary Sue. Because we set him up right from the get-go as he's the best. He's the best in the parsec. He's the man. He's so great. We watch him just flawlessly dispatch everybody in the beginning, and then by the end of episode 1, we see him get kicked around a little bit. We definitely see him get kicked around a little bit. He comes out on top. He doesn't struggle too much through this. But we do see him not be perfect or flawless. And then we go into episode 2. He gets kicked around a lot. He spends a lot of that episode getting kicked around. He gets swindled by the Jawas. He spends the whole episode having to buy back what's his. He gets the crap kicked out of him by the woolly rhinoceros. And so we get to see a certain level of humility. This feeling that he's indebted to and he owes Queel for helping him rebuild his ship and all that stuff. So I like this. He's a rich character. He has a history that we've already teased at. He has a destiny that's already been teased at, and he has a depth to his character and layers that we've already seen in 2 episodes. My biggest complaint about the show so far is it is just too damn short. And maybe the other episodes will get longer in. Maybe they felt a nice 40-minute introduction was good. The second episode is a little bit more of an interlude that's a lot more character building, so maybe they felt they could keep it short. I hope they deliver on some longer episodes later. Maybe, an hour plus for the penultimate episode in the season finale would be nice. I think you have a lot of freedom and leeway in how you're pacing and timing these episodes, just because the kind of show it is. You are telling one whole story, so each episode becomes really a chapter. I like that too in the titles right there, chapter. They call it chapter 1, chapter 2. I love the drawings at the end. I think they're gorgeous. I think they capture the sense and the heart of this show. I'm on board. I'm really on board with this. That doesn't mean I'm forgiving Disney for anything. In fact, one of the reasons I think the show is as good as it is I think that the Disney execs had very little to do with it. Everything Favreau talked about in the panel made it seem like really this is his. He's really responsible for this single-handedly. And the people he brought in to help him with this, and that he had a lot of creative control over the show. And it really feels like he understands how to honor the Star Wars legacy. So I'm very happy about all this. What can I say? I'm thrilled. How do you feel? I'm not going to dismiss it. If you hated it and you have criticisms, I'm not going to dismiss your criticisms or say you're wrong or dumb because you have them. If you're writing the show off just because fuck Disney, then you're robbing yourself, because it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I love having something Star Wars to be excited about. I really, really enjoy that. It's making me very happy. Is it coloring my perception of the show? Possibly. I don't know. But I feel good having something in Star Wars that I can feel good about. And Lando does too, right, Lando? Tell the audience. Tell them what you think. He's like, I'm camera shy. You're not living up to your name very well at all, Cat. If you were actually, hi. He says I like The Mandalorian too. All my cats like it, actually. Obviously Lando does because he's nuzzling me right now. The other 3 were just straight up sitting in front of the TV watching episode 2 with me tonight. It was really, really quite precious. There's a picture of a couple of them on Twitter doing that. Lando wants me to tell you guys how to win a copy of GRINDFOREST 2 now that we've come to the end of the review portion of this, and I think that is very important. Yes, Lando, I'm telling them right now. So, or not GRINDFOREST, GRINDFOREST, not anything 2. If you want to learn how to win GRINDFOREST, which is the double feature of GRIZZLED and Hacked Off, both of which I'll be reviewing later this month, hopefully. So to do this, to enter this giveaway, you're going to leave a comment on this video, and you're going to explain exactly why you need GRINDFOREST in your life. Make it as ridiculous as possible. Could be because you desperately need to walk through the woods from the comfort and safety of your own living room. Maybe it'll cure your pizza addiction, and in curing your pizza addiction, it will therefore lessen your dog's PTSD. Who knows? Maybe you know how to extract mutant penguin DNA from the book, and therefore you need a copy of this because you can use that DNA to therefore cure cancer. So as ridiculous as possible, make it as outlandish as you possibly can. It will cure your cat allergy, which I definitely have. If it did that, I would want that. Because you're penguin sexual, and there's very little bit of literature about giant mutant penguins and cannibalism in the same source, and the fact that they're both paired together just unlocks your deepest fantasies. Whatever it is, let us know in the comments below. Within about 48 hours of this being posted, Rick Foreman, the author, is going to read through those comments. He's going to select one winner. He will notify you by replying to your comment and letting you know that you've won. So keep an eye on replies to your comments. You will then email him at r.ddarkco@gmail.com and let him know where to ship that off to. Unfortunately, the contest is limited to residents of Australasia, Europe, and North America. And U.S. citizens may be eligible to receive a signed copy. So if you're in the U.S., even more reason. So drop that in the comments below, the most ridiculous reason you can think of why you need a copy of GRINDFOREST today. And if you are interested, you can get the ebook, or you can get the paperback copy. The information's all linked right down below here, so check that out. Thank you for watching. Press the like button. If you don't mind, Lando says press the like button, please and thank you. And click on the links that are going to be popping up at the end of this video. You got Get Involved with Me. Oh yeah, subscribe and hit the notifications bell, because YouTube thinks that you all hate me and don't want to watch my videos, so make sure you do those things, and click Get Involved with Me to find out other ways to help this channel grow and improve. Because of YouTube's intense dislike of me, I'm going to be moving a lot of my content over to Patreon starting next month. So for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to some of the content that's moving away from here. For $2 a month, you'll be getting pretty much everything you're missing from YouTube. And yeah, and higher perks, higher rewards, more money gets more stuff. You know, that's how it works, capitalism. Also, if you just want to support one time, you can use my PayPal Me. That's also, the information is also in Get Involved with Me. You can support me by Teespring. That's a thing. I have designs right down below that you can see. You can also find that link through that video. But make sure you're following me on social media. Hair in my mouth. On Instagram at Mindless Entertainment. On Twitter at Jesse Milestone. Don't forget to follow on Twitter at Team Jesse. It's the official Jesse Milestone fan account for all things Mindless Entertainment, run by not me. Really cool. Make sure you're part of that. And then make sure you subscribe to LA Cheesesteak Reviews. We're putting out new content very soon. It's the awesome new channel I'm working on with my fellow Philly transplants. Thank you, Lando. Trying to find a decent cheesesteak in Los Angeles, largely failing. Hilarity ensues. And that's what I got for you today, so thank you so much for watching. Lando says thank you. Lando says fuck you, feed me, Mom. And we'll talk again soon. God Empress out.